So you guys, thank you so much for coming. And the first thing I want to do is I want to clear the air. So this is my little mist. I have this available in my cosmetic line. They're my face mist. This one is thyme and eucalyptus and peppermint. Very good for dissolving the electromagnetic radiation that you tend to absorb on your like everyday life. It's very good for just getting rid of energies that you pick up. And they also have a host of physical, mental, and psychological benefits as well. Follow my page, Touch of Minka, so that you could get more details. Okay, so usually we always kickstart. We ain't even waiting on nobody because we late, and we told them 8 o'clock sharp. I want to quick start with a meditation. We have a lot of information tonight. Going to be talking about the immune system, immunization, and we are going to also be talking about viruses, both natural and man-made. So I want to do a really quick meditation, and this meditation is very powerful. It's very good to use if you are feeling lost, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling depressed, if you're just basically feeling down and out. Okay, so I want to ring my gong, and these gongs are available for online purchases. Hi guys, so this is available for online purchasing. You could, and I want to start selling them at my hub too, but these are very cleansing to your environment. So what you want to do is you want to walk through your house, each room in a clockwise direction, and then you want to ring the gong. And what it does, it dispels negative energy, and it also just basically clears the air and attracts, good positive vibes. So sound energy is very healing. You can read up on that. So we are going to go into a little meditation. And what I want you guys to do for me is I want you to take some deep breaths and just relax. This is your time, your space, you're investing in yourself. This is rejuvenation time. And what I want you to do for me is I want you to, on each inhalation, I want you to visualize that all your cells in your body is basically crystal clear white light. And they're just basically shining like a diamond. So I want you to visualize all the cells in your body. So whichever form your body is taking right now, if you're lying down, sitting down, standing up, I want you to just visualize all the cells in your body with crystal clear white light. And I want you to repeat after me. I am the life-creating force of the universe, and that is within me and around me. I am the life-creating force of the universe, and that is within me and around me. I am the life-creating force of the universe, and that is within me and around me. And then I want you to imagine like a horseshoe that is encompassing your body. So the bottom part is down underneath you. And I want you to imagine and visualize that this blue light is going a whole arm's length above your head and coming around under you to envelop you in a horseshoe of beautiful blue, radiant, healing energy, healing light. Only people who are for your highest good, powerful people who can, help your cause, help you to move forward, people who are meeting you mutually. I want you to visualize you standing in your power, you claiming your space in the universe, you making your mark. When you're standing in your power, you don't attract people who treat you like a victim, because you're no longer sending off victim energy. You're no longer sending off, oh, I feel sorry for myself. I want you to visualize that this blue light is your shield. It protects you. It uplifts you. It heals you. And I want you to repeat after me. I am the power of the universe within me and around me. I am the power of the universe within me and around me. I am the power of the universe within me and around me. And then I want you to visualize that over that blue light is rose pink, bright, like a fiery rose pink that goes around you and under you just the same way, following that same path on the outside of the blue lights. And this rose pink light is the center. It attaches you to the center of the universe. And it only allows people that are loving, that are supportive, that have your highest benefits, your highest means, your highest, benefits at stake, at call. People who are for you, who are with you, who love you unconditionally, who support you, people who are reliable, people who are trustworthy. So I want you to just visualize that rose shield is your protective shield, and it is protecting you. And I want you to say after me, I am the love and support of the universe within me and around me. I am the love and support of the universe within me and around me. I am the love and support of the universe within me and around me. Now I want you to visualize that you have a violet, deep purple light coming, violet and purple, that image, that set of colors. And I want you to visualize that it's coming from your foot bottom and it's broad enough to encompass your horseshoe and your white lights, your blue lights, your pink lights. So just visualize that violet flame coming from up underneath and just burning away your karma, burning away all your past life drama, all your trauma. Always remember that if you keep focusing on the past, then your future will look alike. So you want to burn away all your cords, all your attachments to the past, to all the things that are draining your energy, to all the energetic vampires that have attached themselves to you. You want to just burn that flame. You just want to see that flame just blazing through all of you, all of your aura, just everywhere, just engulfing all impurities, all toxins, everything that doesn't serve you, everything that's draining your energy, everything that you need to let go of. And I want you to say after me, I am the forgiveness and detachment of the universe within me and around me. I am the forgiveness and detachment of the universe within me and around me. I am the forgiveness and detachment of the universe within me and around me. And I want you to visualize now, like you have a cone-shaped hat, like the ones that the Pope wear. And I want you to visualize that at the tip of that hat is a ball. And it's a crystal, like a crystal ball. And this is where your right side of your brain and your left side of your brain meet. And I want you to just visualize harmony. And I want you to just visualize your left side and your right side of your brain being in harmony, because that's the best way and the fastest way to manifest your desires. And I want you to say after me, I am the law of attraction within me and around me. I am the law of attraction within me and around me. I am the law of attraction within me and around me. And for the final step, I want you to visualize a golden orb going around, now at the top. The others were at the bottom. Now this one, I want you to do it at the top. A golden stream of light. And when you use this golden stream of light to protect you, it will help you to manifest your desires faster. Always remember that you don't need to know how your desires are going to manifest. You just need to have faith that they will. You need to trust, you need to know, you need to just basically stay in alignment. And what I want you to say for me now is, I am attracting my wishes here and now within me and around me. I am attracting my wishes here and now within me and around me. I am attracting my wishes here and now within me and around me. Take a deep breath and exhale. How are you guys feeling? I'm feeling nice. I'm feeling so groovy. The only thing I forgot is my incense. You guys know how I love to burn my incense, because incenses also help to purify the air. And we are going to delve right into our topic for tonight. And so we're going to be discussing our immune system and ways in which we basically boost our immune system, or ways in which we actually kill them. Now, what a lot of people don't know and understand is that we are a walking E. coli. Like, our bodies are like earth for bacteria. You understand? You have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria, okay? So viruses are a different story, but you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. You have on your inside of your stomach something that's called friendly bacteria, friendly flora, which has trillions of bacteria cells, okay? And these bacteria, when they take on, like, they feed off our mucus. Okay, so when they eat our mucus, what they let off and release are vitamins and hormones. When it becomes a problem is when the bacteria is overgrown. And this is when, you have basically too much of mucus producing food, or eats, that kind of food that you don't have live food. You know what I'm saying? So the more live food you eat, then is the better balance your body is going to be in anything at all, any kind of vitamins, anything. If you take too much of it, it can be detrimental to your immune system. If you take too little, it can also be detrimental to your immune system. If you take too little iron, if you take too much iron, if you take too little vitamin A, if you take too much vitamin A, anything at all that you take too much, you need to have that perfect balance. Okay, so the bacteria is very important because it allows us to basically be able to live in our society. So don't listen to them when they tell you that you have to kill all the bacteria, because when they're sanitizing down and killing and doing all of that cleaning and everything, you're killing not only the good bacteria, but you're also killing you're not only killing the bad bacteria, but you're also killing the good bacteria as well. And the good bacteria is definitely needed, okay? So what happens is, what allows us to be able to live in society is our skin, which is the largest organ on our body, and it is basically the most protective. So basically, no bacteria that is bad for you, no virus that is bad for you can penetrate your skin. If it comes on your skin, it can't really penetrate. It goes in through your mouth or through your nose, and basically I think those are like the two ways, and yeah, your mouth and your nose, because otherwise it can't really penetrate your skin. And this is why, as not vitalists and people who are into natural medicine, we do not believe in piercing the skin, because on every needle point you could have 100 million AIDS cells. Okay, so, and no matter how clean you get any needle, it can never be clean enough. And when you inject things into your body, it's bypassing all of the defense mechanisms, but we're going to go into that later. So you really don't want to ever puncture the body. As people in natural medicine, we really do not believe in vaccination, because then you bypass so much of the body's natural defense mechanisms, okay? So also, another thing, when I just want to touch on, if and when the skin ruptures or breaks, what you have happening is bleeding. And a lot of people are very fearful of bleeding. You don't want to stop bleeding right away. Yes, you can take cayenne pepper. If you take a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in a glass of water, it will stop any kind of bleeding, whether it's internal or whether it's external, okay? But you don't want to stop the bleeding immediately, because what the bleeding does is it gets rid of the bad bacteria. It gets rid of the toxins and the germs, so that your body's mechanism is protected, okay? What happens is that, so I want to touch on a little bit of how viruses work. Now, or should I even go into that just yet? Yeah, let me go into that. How viruses work, right? Is that they have basically, so okay, with bacteria, when bacteria goes into your body, if it's a bad bacteria and stuff, your macrophages, your T cells, whatever, they just gobble them up and dump them in your colon. Now, viruses are kind of a little bit more tricky, because what they do is, when they go into the body, the first thing that they do is go into your cell. And they start to, because viruses can't survive on their own. So they go into your cell and they take over one cell. Now, when they go into that cell and they start to replicate, they could, produce a whole heap of them. That's why you get sick so fast. You understand what I'm saying? So one virus can go into a cell and just replicate a lot of it, and just boom, you have your cell. So they go into your cell, mimic your cell, your DNA, everything, and then burst open your cell, and you have a whole heap of them little viruses coming out looking like your cells. So that's why it's kind of tricky to, for medicine to treat them, for bacteria to treat, for antibiotics to treat them and stuff. So antibiotics do nothing for viruses, really. As a matter of fact, they do you more harm, because they endanger your stomach and makes it harder for you to digest your food. And they also interfere with your friendly flora, which is very important for your immune system functionability, okay? So the viruses, then, when they burst, they look like your cells very much. So it has to be so what happens is that usually the body goes into alarm mode, beep, 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 and sets off a fever. Now, a fever is a very good thing to have. You do not want to kill a fever, because the fever is the body's defense mechanism. A fever that is caused by a bacteria or a virus. No, you have certain other situations, as if you bump your head, or if you've met in an accident, or certain other situations like that. If your fever goes over 107, then if you are in one of those situations, then your fever is likely to go over 107. But if you are infected, or with a bacteria or a virus, your body temperature is less likely to go over 107. It will not. Now, a lot of people are worried about convulsions. Now, convulsions are also the body's defense mechanism, because what it means is that your fever is rising at a very high rate, and it's rising at a very high rate, for too much of a high rate for the body to be able to deal with. So what happens is you get convulsions in order for you to fall and lay down. So what happens is your body naturally cools down when it is in that state. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah. So all of these things that people fear, because even when I'm studying, in terms of pediatrician taking care of children, there's a thing called fever phobia that parents have. And it's as soon as the them start have a fever, it's everybody goes crazy. As soon as people start having a fever, everybody goes crazy. And really and truly, the fever is the body's defense mechanism. So what happens is when there's a fever going on, there's increased circulation. So the macrophages, the T cells, get to go to the viruses and to the bacteria faster to gobble it up and get it out of your system. Okay. Now, apart from your immune system working, your nerves and your brains have to be clicking for them to identify, because what happens is that when the police, like a police sells them a police through your body and they see a virus, they're like, okay, wow. They're like, okay, this don't really look, this kind of looks like this our cells, but this have something funny. And what they do is they engulf the self, eat it up, and then basically spew its protein over it. Okay, so then another cell comes in and digests the virus and takes it. So it's a whole heap of mechanism that, so your brain and your nerves have to be functioning. Now, when they make man-made viruses, it's really made to bypass your nervous system, and that's why it attacks the body so fast. So you guys really have to be taking care of your whole system, not just your immune system, but your brain cells, fruits. The brain doesn't really function. The best fuel for the brain is fruit sugar, okay, or vegetable sugar, okay. So the brain, walnuts also, but really and truly, the brain really needs live food to function properly. So you really want to be eating your live foods. You really want to be eating your fruits and stuff to make sure that your brain is functioning properly. You want to make sure that your nerves are not afraid, you're not stressed out. And this is where the whole fear factor comes in, and why you can't stress out yourself, and why it's very good to do meditations and stuff like that, because you need stable nerves. You need your body functioning properly in order to basically handle these viruses and these bacteria and these toxins that are always in the environment. Okay, so you can see that, I want to tell you that a lot of people who are actually dying from, these viruses are people who are actually taking meds, because they're taking meds and they're stopping their body's natural defense mechanisms. They're stopping their body's natural defense system from actually working. And there are also a lot of people who are passing away from this virus are people who have already been on meds. So their immune system have already been broken down. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happens when you take drugs, because that's what they are, right? And both bacteria and viruses are very fast growing. So if you were taking just supplements, you really want to up. So this is why I always tell people, if you feel you're coming down with something, you could take like elderberry, you know what I'm saying? You could up your increase. If you were taking 1 part, you need to start taking 4 parts. So like for example, for me, if I feel I'm coming down with something, if I take olive leaf every day, if I take a cayenne pepper every day, I start taking 4. So I take 1 every 4 hours of an olive leaf, or 1 every 4 hours of a cayenne pepper. Actually, I take both. And I also sip ginger tea in between that, elderberry tea. You want to pump up, your nutrients and your supplements, because that is what is going to make the body work. You understand what I'm saying? So you really want to do that, because the viruses and the bacteria, they really do multiply really fast. So, and another thing, so why it's important for you to take in your nutrients is that when a cell is nourished, it's going to stay alive. It's going to do what it needs to do to expel the toxins, to, work against the viruses and the bacteria, but it has to be nourished. You know what I'm saying? If it's not nourished, then it's not going to stay alive. And if it's not alive, then it's going to be food for viruses and bacteria. Make sense? So Yeah, and the body works in, like as I was saying before, the different mechanisms where fever is concerned. So different levels of fever kicks in different cells in the body that will actually, so you have, to me, I call them like, you have the police, then if it's like a really serious virus, it's gonna carry out the big wigs, which are the soldiers. You know what I'm saying? I want to just keep it simple like that, because there are actually some, T cells, B cells. The words are actually not so easy to pronounce, and it just really doesn't make any sense. But also, you want to eat foods that develop your natural antibodies, because the antibodies are actually, because the viruses are so hard to identify, your natural antibodies, which are developed, when you eat natural food and when you build up your system naturally, these are what attaches to the virus and helps the body to identify them. Because remember, as I said before, the viruses duplicate your cells, so they really look like your cells. They're like, they're really sneaky. So and whatever immune system problem that you have, autoimmune system, cancer, anything like that, your immune system is the only thing that can fight against whatever is going on in your body without destroying itself. Every other method destroys both the bad and the good cells, okay? So yeah, you really want to make the body work, So also a really quick, even something as, a lot of people always say I love to cry. Well, crying is very expelling to for toxins, you know what I'm saying? So even if you feel like you're coming down with something, onion is a really good thing. Cut up an onion and sniff it, so it will start making you cry, and just that will stimulate your kickstart your immune system to start going faster, okay? And also you need to have strong lungs, because as I said before, because of your skin and your skin being such a natural protective barrier, you are naturally protected from a lot of these viruses and bacteria. The issue comes when you inhale stuff, right? So you really want to avoid secondhand smoke, of course, and you really want to basically boost your lungs. And horseradish, ginger, hyssop, and coltsfoot. There are certain herbs that are good for boosting your lungs, and you could also, I think, like just squeezing lime in your water and stuff like that is also good for boosting your lungs. You could just read up and also DM me if you have any information. I have a lung boosting formula, and I also have formulas that decongest that whole respiratory system. Rose hips are good. Eucalyptus, peppermint, things like that will clear that path. And you want to clear it because, everybody, when they're talking about this thing that's going around, they talk about how fast the mucus gets built up. So you want to use things that are dispelling the mucus, and you do not, people, you cannot afford to be eating mucus forming foods right now. No dairy, no white flour, no white sugar, no one only for meats. You guys have to try and discipline yourselves, okay? I'm serious, because those things are really heavily mucus producing, and that's what the viruses want, okay? That's a perfect environment for them. They're like, they feel right at home. So you want to boost up your lungs, and you also want to, your stomach is your first line of defense. Now, a lot of people eat fast, and they also eat and drink. And what you want to do is you want to avoid doing this, because your saliva is one of the first places where, a lot of bacteria and viruses are destroyed in your mouth. So your mouth, your saliva is one of your first defense mechanism. Okay, so you want to chew your food properly. And also when you're drinking, you want to drink and then you wanna drink an hour before you eat. Sorry, an hour after you eat, and 5 minutes at least before you eat. You do not want to be eating and drinking. Make sure that you're drinking water right through the day so that you're properly hydrated, so you do not feel like you want to eat and drink. It's a very dangerous habit. It dilutes the digestive juices, and it really creates havoc in your stomach. Okay, so you want to chew your foods properly, and then when you're drinking, you want to kind of hold it in your mouth a little bit before you swallow. Are you seeing it now? Because it didn't pause over here. So if you do not chew your foods properly, what is going to happen is that it's going to, in your mouth is really acidic, okay, and also this area here, when it starts going into your small intestine, then that part is very alkaline. Okay, so if you do not use up this acidic area to kill off the bacteria and the viruses and stuff from your food by chewing it properly, then what's going to happen is that you're going to swallow food, and a lot of people ruin their stomach this way. So when you swallow your food like that, you are just basically breathing up, because that, when you bypass that defense mechanism, then you are susceptible to ingesting viruses and bacteria. Okay, and down in the stomach, down in the small intestine, is very alkaline, versus in the stomach that is acidic. So down in that alkaline area is a very, that's where they like to thrive. Okay, so you want to make sure that you chew your food properly, and that you are not eating and drinking. Okay, and you also want to make sure that you do not eat too much highly acidic foods. I post some of these things from time to time, but you could also check them out on the internet. Also, like grains. I know a lot of vegetarians eat grains. You want to be soaking your grains and throwing off the water and slightly sprouting them, or at least leaving them overnight after you've thrown them off, to reduce the acidity. Okay. What else? So, yeah, and another thing is dairy is very important to avoid in these times, because dairy really boosts your mucus in your system. Okay, and so this is a very important point that I'm going to be making right now. In your stomach, right, is where you have the friendly flora and all of that going on. Now, if you eat too much acidic food, you will not have that friendly flora as a defense mechanism in your stomach anymore, and you further make yourself susceptible to diseases and to viruses, viruses and bacteria and other diseases. So also what happens is candida is very important to the body. People fear it, but what happens is when it goes in overgrowth, because candida is very important, but you need to have it in a balanced state. Okay, and what happens is when it overgrows, because you're feeding it too much acidic food, or because it feeds on alcohol and sugar, what happens is that when it overgrows and gets out of control, it actually can mimic several diseases. Okay, so for me, it just breaks down the whole body, because basically holistic people don't see diseases, or we don't compartmentalize the body. So you really wanna work on keeping up your candida in balance. And a lot of people take acidophilus, but that is just one of the many friendly flora that you need. So I would suggest for you to actually just eat up your raw foods, your cabbage, succonuts is also very good. Slightly fermented food, nutritional yeast, and things like that is actually very good for. Apple cider vinegar is also very good for helping to keep that balance. All right, so where are we? Also, so I want to talk about some pandemics that have passed, or even at least one. So in the 1950s, they had the polio pandemic, and what had happened was that was right after World War II, and there was no sugar in, very available in World War II. So after World War II, there was a sugar rush. During that time, yes, doctors didn't really know about the benefits of the tonsil. So the tonsils are also one of the defense mechanism that we have, right? And also the thymus gland, right? So back then, doctors didn't know what function they served. And what happens was when people started eating, things that they were not supposed to eat, and these organs were overworking, or these glands were overworking, and they became inflamed, doctors couldn't understand it, so they just said, let's just cut them out. So when they cut them out, what happened is they opened up a whole lot of people, their immune system to these viruses. Okay, so that is what happened in that whole area of the whole polio outbreak, right? There's always some method behind the madness. So so yeah, you really want to protect your tonsils. So you could gargle with sea salt, you could gargle with apple cider vinegar, you could gargle with lime water, and that will help to boost that area right there. You could also suck on ginger during the day. I love to do that. And what that does, it just helps to protect this whole area right here, and boosts your body's natural immune system. You need zinc. You need a lot of zinc. But let me tell you something, you cannot absorb iron, or you cannot absorb zinc off the shelf. You cannot absorb any of these vitamins off the shelf, because if you absorb too much, you are going to put your immune system at risk and at detriment. If you take these things from food, really dirty. All right, let me not cuss. Interferences. I'll try to save it. Yeah, I hope I have enough space. It's gonna be on my Facebook page for sure. So, oh gosh, where was I? Yes, your body cannot absorb these nutrients from off the shelf, because if you absorb too much, then it's going to put your body at detriment. It's known, research has proved it. Oh yeah, here we go. Research has proved it that too much vitamin A leads to cancer. So you want to get these things from your food, because if you're getting it from your food, if you get too much, it just expels out of your body. Okay, and you don't have to have, once you're eating live foods, you don't need any kind of risk. I mean, just maybe you would be so surprised the little bit amount of food that gives you your needed vitamin nutrient needs for the day. You know what I'm saying? So you need zinc though, and zinc you could get that from a handful of pumpkin seeds. And you could also just go and Google natural sources of zinc. Okay, I don't want to take up too much time with the video, but you need zinc and you need iron, because and you need iodine. So you need kelp. So all of these things help to boost the body's immune system. So with iron you need vitamin C. So like if I eat a lot of callaloo, or if I drink a lot of green juices, I tend to, my body tends to crave naturally oranges or lime, because the vitamin C and the iron is working together to bring the nutrients and the oxygen to the cells. If you don't have enough iron in your body, then you're going to be susceptible to diseases as well, because your cells can't get nutrients and they can't get oxygen. Again, you cannot absorb iron off the shelf. You need to be drinking up your beetroot. You need to be taking your molasses. What other good source of iron? Cashews are a good source of iron. Dates are a good source of iron. Cayenne pepper is a good source of iron. And you also, as I said before, want to be taking in your iodine. So a lot of people do not like sea vegetables, but they are very good. Nori, hijiki, all of them sea vegetables are very good to eat up. Okay, and you could take kelp supplements also, so that your thyroid is functioning properly. All right. So if you have a fever, if you're coming down with a fever, you want to keep the fever wet, meaning that you want to put the person in some warm water, but you also want to give them like hot tea or warm tea. Yarrow tea is good, ginger tea is good, any kind of tea to let them flush. So they're going to be expelling the sweat, and that's how the body is going to be cooled down. Okay. And of course you could use a thermometer to check so that it doesn't go over 107. That is the danger meter for fevers. If the fever is not going over 107, you're fine. If your fever is your body's natural mechanism, you do not want to stop a fever. You want to actually enhance a fever so that it can actually do its job and expel and get rid of these viruses and bacteria really quick and fast. Okay. But as I said before, make sure that you're guided, because my lecturer was telling the story of somebody saying that you could go wrap up in a blanket so that you could sweat. No, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're drinking your liquids, because dry heat is death and moist heat is life. So you want to be making sure that you're in a bath, you have a cool rag on your forehead, and you're sipping water and tea. Make sure. And call me if y'all need any kind of instructions. DM me, okay? So, and I also have formulas for like yeast overgrowth if you guys want to call me for that. Again, you do not want to take stuff to stop your fever, so do not take any aspirin. It's going to make it worse. All right? And stuff that will also help to keep your friendly flora in is garlic. Like garlic is like a really good one for that. All right. And you really do not want to take antibiotics. What is happening with antibiotics, right, is that they are the bacteria is transmugating, I think that's the word, yes, at a rate so fast, meaning that they're developing new species just so they could survive. Modern day science cannot keep up. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing that you could use is your own body's intelligence and plants, you know what I'm saying, which has been around from time infinite. 50 years ago, these people in medical science did not know the benefits of the thyroid, nor did they know the benefits of the thymus gland. Now that should tell you a lot, okay? Plants, natural remedies have been around for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay, you guys? So they are trusted, they have been proven, they work. And I just really want to go into, that whole thing of, taking antibiotics really does ruin your system. It kills both your friendly and your bad bacteria, and so it leaves your whole immune system open and susceptible to diseases and to all kind of problem. And a lot of times what happens is that it creates holes in our stomach. So a lot of people who are eating, so for example, this is why you have this whole big rise in autoimmune diseases, because you have people who are eating and then their stomach is not digesting the food, so it goes into the body. So the cells are like, I recognize this. It looks kind of like protein, but I'm not used to it in the States. I'm used to it more broken down, but let me just push it over here. So it goes into your weak areas. So then it pushes it into your joints, and different areas. And then it starts accumulating, and then you have an issue right there. And then when it accumulates too much, the cells start eating it because it still doesn't recognize it. And then it's just getting too much in the body, right? So that's what happens when you have a bad stomach. right? And that's how it goes deeper into autoimmune diseases and all kind of other diseases. You understand? So you really want to protect right here. You want to make sure that you are really eating on time, eating properly, right? Make sure that you're drinking, your life juices, and eating properly. Avoid, if you have candida overgrowth, you want to avoid all sugar, honey, maple syrup, agave syrup, all of them included. You would just want to have a diet of most like vegetables and maybe like brown rice, because that's anything that's easy to digest. That's what you want to be having. No sugar, very limited, even fruits. Okay. And one way to know if you have candida overgrowth is as soon as you start having chronic fatigue symptoms. You know what I'm saying? And I want to branch off now and go into immunization. So they are always telling us about injecting. No, my school does not believe in vaccinations because, as I said before, you're breaking the body's mechanism and the first line of defense, apart from the stomach and the lungs, right? So a lot of times now we're gonna get really saucy up in here, right? So they are saying that whatever is going around came from a meat market in China. No, before y'all cocky ass Americans or whoever in the world that go like them first world and better than everybody else, y'all need to look at your slaughterhouses, okay? Because your slaughterhouses ain't much better than the market in Wuhan. Just saying. I'm just saying. And, the way how the animals are treated, you know what I'm saying? So the facts is the facts, you guys. I'm not knocking anybody who eats meat. I'm not. I'm just stating facts. The facts is that a lot of these viruses are cross-contaminated. We're cross-contaminated with a lot of these viruses through meat. And it doesn't matter if it comes from a market down in China or a slaughterhouse anywhere else in the world. Meat is meat. Okay? And once you're eating meat, you're being exposed to these viruses. Once you're eating meat, your body is going to be more and more susceptible to diseases. So I'm not telling you if you stop eating meat. I'm just saying, make sure that you're eating even more live food so that you can have liveliness going on in your body and not just dead stuff. I remember growing up, most people would just eat rice and meat. Hardly any live vegetables. The other day I was crying because I was sitting down with my cousins, and one of them said, "Is any child who loves vegetable is a weird child." And I was just like, wow. And I want to also point out that if you are lacking in zinc, you are not going to like the taste of natural food. Okay, natural food is going to taste bland and yucky to you, but it's because you're deficient in zinc. So once you start eating and taking in natural, you will start liking natural foods better. I tell you, your taste buds are going to change. Okay, and what they're not telling you, so you remember they came up with this argument that AIDS came from monkeys in Africa, right? So what they're not telling you, so in Africa or in monkeys, right, there is a virus called SIDS, which is basically identical to AIDS, right? And what they basically do the same thing. They break down your immune system. And what they're not telling you is that we were exposed to a lot of these viruses because the vaccines that they use on us were cultured on monkey brain or chicken embryo, okay, or some animal body parts. So if you're cultivating these vaccines on these animal parts, what is happening is we are basically absorbing the DNA of these animals. And what happens is a lot of these animals, when they're exposed to these viruses, those viruses don't do them nothing. But when we are exposed to these viruses, then we have an issue. Okay? So, that's one of the issues with vaccines, right? And vaccines also have chicken embryo, they have formaldehyde. And as far as I'm concerned, based on all the vaccinations that we've gotten since we've been children, we're supposed to be like Hulk Hogan. As far as I'm concerned, it's because of these vaccinations that are basically breaking down our immune system why we can't stand up to these viruses, why we can't stand up to these bacteria. We're just susceptible to every damn little thing. When back in the day, you used to hear about so much people have cancer, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, cancer, diabetes, all kind of immune problems. No. Right? Because what happens is when you are immunized, I hate these big words, you see, so can't bother with the clean language, you know. But when you get vaccinated, right? You basically, you are exposed to the virus. And when you are exposed to the virus, so they have two forms of immunization. The live virus and the dead virus. Either way, once it's injected in you, you shed that virus everywhere you go for the next 2 weeks, at least. So, you know, they have this argument when they're going to say, if you don't want to take the vaccine, then you're a part of the problem. You're going to be putting everybody else at risk. No, you with the vaccine is who's putting me at risk. Because you are walking up and down and spreading the virus. Because that is what vaccines is. Them inject the virus in you. I don't care if it's dead or it's live or if it's weak or if it's half woke or if it's a zombie. Me no want a virus injected in me. Because hear this now. I want to listen to me good. They're telling you about social distancing, but yet they want to come up with a vaccine. What does a vaccine do? It exposes you to the virus so that your body can build up antibodies. So why we can't just expose ourselves naturally to the virus? Why we can't just take a risk and walk up and down and hug up who we want, hug up and live how we want to live and just live? And if we catch the virus, then our body, our immune system will build up resistance to it anyway. Me not understand. What's the difference? What's the difference of getting it like that and making my body build up the immune system to you giving me a vaccine? Because everybody knows that when you get a vaccine, you automatically get flu-like symptoms, which is the same thing like catching a virus, and you're going to overcome it anyways. Your body is naturally going to overcome it. But the problem is when they inject it into you, then it because it bypasses the body's the natural defense mechanism, it attaches faster to your nerve cells, so it stays longer in your system. And when they give you these things as babies have not developed. There's a line in your brain. There's a membrane blocking off your brain from the rest of your body. So it's very, very specific about what it lets up into your brain. You understand what I'm saying? And that is why I'm saying it's only when you're eating certain food you can nourish your brain properly, because it really just is very specific. Now, when you as a baby, what happens is these mercury is also in vaccines. So what happens is the heavy metal bypasses that membrane before it is developed. And what happens is it stunts the baby's natural immune development, because anything that's like metal is going to go on, kind of like basically freeze the development of the nerves and certain brain functions. That's what happens. Okay, so that is why we're so immune to that is why we have so much autoimmune diseases, so much cancer, this and that, and all kind of something like that. And that's, of course, what they want, because then them go clean up now, you know, with the meds and with going to them for treatments. You know, it's a whole dolly horse. But we're here to we're not even, you know, focus on that. We just do hear what we're doing, and who has ears to hear will hear. Who have eyes to see will see, you know. We just hear spitting the knowledge I've been studying for years. So I know what I'm talking about. And if you think about it, it makes sense. You don't have to go to medical school to have common sense. And a lot of doctors do not use common sense. Let me just tell you that. Because it's what they're trained. Doctors are just trained to give you meds and give you surgery. Okay? So so we touched on immunization, and now the thing is with man-made, the thing with man-made and hey, okay, bye. The thing with man-made and man-made viruses versus natural made viruses is that the ones, hey Joelle, I miss you. So the ones that you have that is natural, it's easier for your body to develop a natural mechanism for it. You understand what I'm saying? Or against it. When it's made in a lab, what usually happens is it's made to bypass your natural immune system. It's made to bypass your nerve cells. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like bioengineered to kind of like trick your body even more. So you know, the virus is already tricky. So it's kind of like that. So that's why it's even faster, and it just does like that to your body. But let me tell you, no virus, whether man-made or natural, cannot flourish in a body that does not feed it. That does, if you don't have, and viruses are just doing their job, because viruses just basically get rid of toxins. They gobble up garbage. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to make sure if your cells are nourished and full of nutrients and alive, it's less likely that a virus can devour it. It's going to kick that virus's butt out. Booyah. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, awesome. I think we covered up most of our topics. Let me know if you have any questions. I want to answer your questions right now. So I hope I made some sense. I can't think of anything else. I've covered all my notes. If you have any questions, there's a craze right now with everybody using up colloidal silver and even gold, taking in gold. No metal particle. Heavy metals are not good for the body. Okay, heavy metals are not good for the body, and you do not want to use them. All right. All right. So message me. You do not want to use any kind of heavy metal because it kills both the good and the bad bacteria, and your body is going to be in problems after a while. So yes, you may get some benefits and you may get some relief, but after a while it will get rid of the good bacteria as well, and you're going to more than likely end up with candida overgrowth. Okay. Because also, what's so crazy? They pasteurize juices and stuff, right? But the temperature that they pasteurize them at only kills the good bacteria. The bad bacteria is not really killed. So that is another reason why you want to avoid dairy, because dairy has a lot of bacteria, because it hasn't been pasteurized. Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry, you guys. Just the thought. I can't have dairy no more. I used to have my cheat days. I used to love me some Devon House ice cream. Now I better go in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, I'm ordering my vegan factory level ice cream maker, because I want to be making ice cream for you guys as well. But anyways, you guys don't have any questions, so I'm gonna wrap up right now. Have a very blessed week. I hope this was informative. Tell your friends to come and watch. And blessings, peace. Remember to do the meditation if you guys feeling any kind of way. I hope to post this on my YouTube. I hope I can save it. Sometimes I have issues, but it will be on my Facebook Live. Jillian Francis, check it out. Peace and blessings. No, please save it. Oh my God, I can't believe this.